Hold on a second. Hope if I turn this around. I'm so silly. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Chronically Rah-Rah, the Fight for Answers, Fight for a Cure. And I thought I would get on for just a couple minutes. Excuse my, how chronically awesome I look. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, welcome to Chronically Rah-Rah, Fight for Answers, Fight for a Cure. And if you are going to be joining us on the live, I want to thank you very much. And if you're going to be joining us on the replay, I want to thank you very much as well. I know how you can be spending your time, and you're choosing to spend your time here at Chronically Rah-Rah. So for that, I thank you. So anyway, I wanted to get on for a few minutes and I had some thoughts going in my head as I was getting ready to do some work for my store that I own, and I thought I would share some of those Lindsay insights or those chronic insights with you. So this weekend we had a really long weekend. We were out all weekend. I look like, I don't even know if you can see it, like in my face. I look like a lobster had babies with a fire. And being in Southern California, I should not look like that. I should look like one of those like nice tan people, but the Polish in me is pale and I stay in a lot. So I am quite red and it took a lot of energy out of me. So it's taken me a couple days to recover where I'm just having to be in bed for a couple days, and that's fine. It was totally worth it. I got to love on some really great people. I got to volunteer this weekend. It was awesome. I'll put the link up, but go and check out our good friends, Service Dog Ricochet, where we were volunteering with this weekend. And then we did a market. So it was worth it. I knew that my body was going to pay the price and I was going to be in bed for a couple days. And that's okay. So, but instead of, unfortunately, I could not go to the office today and I still had to get work done. So I decided to bring the office to me. So, sorry, stuff is a mess. I'm sure somebody's thinking, oh my God, Becky, my clothes are on her bed. It's cool. It's what you got to do it's what you got to do for the hustle. So I kind of wanted to share some insights. So some of the things that I was thinking about and some of the things that I've been working through. So if you're new to Chronically Rah-Rah, I have two more rare incurable conditions. So one of them is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobility type, and the other is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And I'm also being worked up for gastroparesis, and I have issues with mast cell activation syndrome. That's a lot of words, isn't it? So I always said I wanted more words behind my name than was in my name. So if you count all of the conditions that I have, I totally made it. It's awesome. But anyway, because of those, I deal with, like, I can't regulate my heart rate, my blood pressure, my heart rate, my blood pressure, my body temperature. If you see people that, you always thought were double jointed, that's where the Ehlers-Danlos comes in. Your body doesn't produce enough collagen, so therefore, depending on which type you have, you either have, you have the stretchy skin, which, some of my skin is a little bit stretchy, or you can do, contort your body in different ways. Mine tends to affect my internal organs a little bit more, so hence the reason I've got the heart and the gastro issues. But we often find that, and I did this a lot, is we allow our conditions or our diseases to become us. And we almost feel like we submit to those. And when you take, for me, I couldn't go to the office today because my body is like, nope. And we live in, where we live, it's just really super hot outside. I'm not going to make the analogy because it's not appropriate. But does that mean that I sit down and I do nothing all day? No. It's I'm making the disease my bitch. Okay. So, if there are any parents with kids around, you might want to shoo the kids away. Instead of having the disease make you its bitch, you want to make the disease your bitch. So there's nothing that I can do about my diseases. They're here, they're incurable, they're not going anywhere. But how I react to it and how I, hi Tori, how I react to it and how I perceive it is going to make all the difference. And it's really going to make all the difference in, in your treatments, in your positivity, and the way that you perceive and think about things. So what did I do? I brought my work. I wasn't going to, let my issues take me down. So I brought my work home, and I'm going to work from home, and it's great. And I am, with the business that I own, the business that I have, I am so blessed to have, number one, an abundance of clients, and I'm constantly getting new clients and, new consigners every day. And I'm very blessed to, and I'm also very blessed to have such amazing, understanding clients saying, I can't believe that you can even do this. Like, yeah, take your work home. So, when you choose to make the disease your bitch instead of having the disease make it your bitch, it makes it a whole lot different. So with that being said, I want to share some affirmations. And, one of the biggest things that I'm working on, that I'm personally working on, is getting to a place where you're in the right headspace and heart space in order to really, really tackle whether it's depression, anxiety, you're on the autism spectrum, you've got Ehlers-Danlos, you're fighting cancer, whatever it is, we're all dealing with something, okay? We're all dealing with something chronic, whether it's an invisible illness or it's not an invisible illness, right? And so, we have to get into the mindset of changing our headspace and our heart space, and being able to really see our value and our worth within the world, despite, even despite our limitations, okay? And that's one thing that I'm working on. And so one of the things that I do every day is I give myself affirmations. Like, I tell myself, affirmations are, if you don't know what they are, they're basically truths that you speak to yourself. And how, psychologically speaking, or, in a realm of neuropsychology, it's multiple studies have been done, and they've done functional MRIs, because I like to see the science behind it, because I'm a science person. Like, that's my baby. Like, if you give me tangible evidence, or something, then I can grasp onto that. So a lot of functional MRI studies have showed, and a lot of studies in neuroscience have showed, that the more you're constantly giving yourself those positive affirmations, saying, I am an amazing human being, I have so much worth, I do great in school, today is going to be an amazing day. You keep on telling yourself that. The more you keep on telling yourself those truths, the more the neurons in your brain get rewired, so you believe it. So all the crap that we're creating in our subconscious, those limiting beliefs that we've grown up with, like, oh, I'm not good enough to do this, or, oh, I don't have enough money to do that, or, with, whatever disease or illness you're fighting, oh, I'm too sick to do this, or I'm too sick to do that, those weigh you down, and it really, really makes a huge difference in how you feel. And so if you, wake up every day, I do it as soon as I wake up and before I go to bed. I'm doing affirmations. I'm constantly doing affirmations. I make my family do them now. I make my 11-year-old do them. She loves them. And when I say that, she hates doing it, but she's going to learn to love it. So you can really get to a point where you're learning to love yourself, and you're learning to love and accept yourself despite the conditions that you have. Because remember, your conditions are not you. Like, I am not Ehlers-Danlos and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome don't own me. My mast cell activation syndrome doesn't own me. My gastroparesis doesn't own me. Do I have them? Yes. Are they not curable? Are they curable? No. But does that define who I am? Absolutely not. I am Lindsay freaking Ferreira. I am an entrepreneur. I am smart. I am talented. I am an amazing person, and people like to be around me. That is who I am, not the other things. Not the Ehlers-Danlos, not the POTS. Now, I do use those things. I do use the POTS. I do use the Ehlers-Danlos, the mast cell activation, and my story of how I got to those diagnoses to help other people out. And by all means, if it helps people out, then whew, I'm on it. Okay? So a couple of affirmations that I wanted to share with you today are, I am not my disease. I own it. It does not own me. So say that with me. Anybody that's watching, if you're watching on the live or on the replay, I am not my disease. I own it. It does not own me. And I have abundant worth in this world. I have a lot to give, and people appreciate my lessons. Every one of us has a lesson that we can give. So whether you think it's the smallest lesson in the world or the biggest thing in the world, everybody has some kind of a lesson that we can give and that we can teach others. So just remember that. Also remember, some food for thought. A really great book, and I highly, highly recommend it. I've never read books like this before, and this is the first one that I've picked up, and I cannot put it down. Like, I think God speaks to us in ways, like, God sends us little tidbits and speaks to us in ways that, like, we get it, like, almost speaks on our vibration, if you will, or speaks on our level. But a book that I highly recommend is by Gabby Bernstein, and it's called The Universe Has Your Back. And one of the things, that we tend to not realize, or that we tend to maybe look over, is we need to see that your perception is your reality. So however you're perceiving the world around you, that's going to be what your reality is. And I can say that because I've been on the world sucks, everybody's against me, like, everything is going wrong, woe is me. And when I had that constant mindset, especially when it came to my conditions, then yeah, like, I was way more sick. I was in the hospital more. I was having more financial issues. I was having a hard time at work. I was having a hard time loving myself. It was because the perception that I was seeing in the world, I allowed it to become my reality. And so now I really am, so I decided to change my perception. So, and as I've continued to change my perception, my reality has also continued to change. So for those of you, watching this, whether you have any kind of a condition or a disease or whatever or not, really look at the way that you're perceiving the world around you. Your perception is your reality. And again, we can't control, I was keeping notes so I don't go off task. We can't control, a lot of times, now there are diseases that you can't control. You can control, you can control type 2 diabetes. Like, that's one that you can control. But there's a lot of things that we can't control. There's a lot of diseases and conditions that we can't control just because it's in our DNA. However, we can control how we receive them and perceive them. You cannot control the diseases that you have. So some of the diseases that you'll get, again, some of them are completely, you can avoid melanoma, you can avoid type 2 diabetes. We're not talking about those ones. We're talking about, the conditions that I have. We're talking about, okay, there we go. We're talking about, genetic conditions, etc. You guys know. You can't control the disease that you have, but you can control how you handle it and perceive it. So I cannot control that I have Ehlers-Danlos. I cannot control that I have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS. I cannot control that even though I really want to eat this food and my heart loves this food, I can't control that my gastric system is just not going to handle it and I'm not going to be able to process it. So I can't control, whatever it is in your life, your family history. If you have, your family background, you can't control that. You can't control, what you were born into, who you were born into. Driving on the road, you can't control the other people around you. However, you can control you, and you can control how you handle the situations around you. Shitty things are going to happen. The fact of the matter is we live in a fallible world. We live in a world where, unfortunately, shit happens, okay? But how we perceive it and how we handle it makes all the difference in the world. So you can, traffic can be horrible. You can get up, your coffee wasn't right, traffic can be horrible. You're late to work, and, you can be mad the entire time and it sets the precedence for the rest of your day and it just kind of snowballs. Or you can get up and say, start off with an affirmation or whatever. And even though those things are going to continue to happen, you can, a lot of things, again, how you perceive it, traffic's bad, people around you can't drive. I live in Southern California where I don't know why, but we just don't have the greatest drivers here. I don't know what to tell you. We don't have the greatest drivers here in Southern California. My husband likes to get mad and cuss and, and I handle it. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? So it's all a matter of how you handle it, because I don't want that stuff to take me down, and you don't want that stuff to take you down as well. So anyway, those are just some chronic insights that I thought I would share while I was thinking about it. And I know I haven't been posting that much, but I will. I'll work on it. We got, if anything comes up, I'll bring it up as far as my health or whatever goes. We sent I had the heart monitor on, sorry, I'm in that phase where everything itches from the sunburn. So I'm like, oh. So as soon as we get those results back, we'll, go over those. If I have any other insights, I'll go over those. As far as my health is concerned. And outside of that, I'll try to get on maybe once a week and do some chronic insights. So we can work on how we are perceiving our illnesses and conditions and what we can do to make our disease our bitch instead of the other way around. So again, for anybody that joined us on the live, I thank you so much for joining me. Anybody that joins me on anybody that joins me on the replay, I thank you so much as well. Again, I know how you can be spending your time, and you're choosing to spend your time here at Chronically Rah Rah, Fight for Answers, Fight for the Cure. And if you think that anybody would benefit from my story or chronic insights, then absolutely send them over to my page, have them like my page. I would absolutely, love to get followers and help people out however I can. Outside of that, I got to do some girl boss work, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you.